Hello, hello! Welcome everybody to another Thunderbird live hacking session. Hey, happy Friday! Yeah, today I decided to do it on Friday because yesterday I was busy doing meetings and other things. So yeah, just a different day. Hopefully we're gonna have the usual beautiful people joining, but hello, hello, how's everybody doing? Where are you from? Where are you listening or watching this video from? What time is it in your time zone? Right now it's 10:30 in the morning in Vancouver, Canada. It's cloudy, cold-ish. I have my fingerless gloves so I can code at the speed of light without having any issues with my hands because I'm old, but whatever. Today we are gonna take a look of a bunch of things that just landed on daily if you want to use the beautiful new stuff, and then we are going to start working on some new implementations for the message header. I have some design mockups that we can discuss on, and we need to define the work on all the things that we need to implement. So yes, how's everybody doing? Just a few people joining, but let's get started. So recently, let me switch to these. What just landed on daily? If you are on daily, actually, let me update this. Update master. Let me compile the code. I don't know if you use daily. If you don't use daily, whatever, it's okay. If you use daily, you can now take a look at the beautiful new agenda design that we refreshed a little bit. We removed the old gradients. If you take a look at the old, currently like 91, we have all these lines. The icons for repeated events it's kind of disconnected. We have these weird style of tabs, whatever, opening and collapsing, just long list. Here it's very confusing, like every event repeats the same day, even if it's not divided by day. We collapse and group everything together. We don't separate the date. So we updated the UI a little bit to actually group all the same events in the same day and then highlight the date. It's clearer, it's easier to check and understand. And yes, we refreshed the UI a little bit. We're going to do kind of the same to the calendar. We're going to improve the calendar UI a little bit. Right now it's a little bit messy, but other than that, we need to start working on the message header. The message header, it's bad. It's old, it's bad. Actually, let me get this. Yes, open message in a new window. Oh, no window. Open message in a new tab. And I'm going to use these as a placeholder. Hey, look at these. Yeah, beautiful. Lots of attachments. So the message header, it's kind of bad. Hello, Draman. Welcome, welcome. I was missing you. Like, I was wondering, where is Draman? Oh, it just joined. So the message header has a lot of problems. First of all, the message header used to be a customizable toolbar because you were able to move things around and hide and show the buttons that you needed. We dropped that because it adds a lot of complexity to a section where literally you can basically change one button. So an entire customizable toolbar for one extra button. Not very optimized, not great. So we dropped it, but unfortunately users, they have different needs. And of course they need to show and hide the different buttons. They want to customize this thing. And also if you have a very small UI or very small layout, yes, we shrink these to make them look just with the icons. We drop the label, but some users still experience these sort of like overflow. This just disappears to the right, and also these media query is not really a media query breaking points, but this breaking point that we're using here, it's kind of like random. Like we decided ourselves is not properly defined by how much space is the from occupying, and if it's actually interfering with the buttons. We're not stacking things. It's kind of like it's not very optimized. And also, if we take a look at the source code, which, if I'm not wrong, should be the message header view. Yes, this is an include, because we include these pretty much everywhere. We include it in the single view, we include it in the message pane. If you open these in a new window, it's also a new window here with exactly the same thing. So these are all different views and layout and all the other things that use that message header. It's included everywhere. So once we update it, it's going to be updated everywhere. But if we take a look at the code, it's a little bit of a mess because it went through a lot of different iterations. So we have some Zool styling like VBox and HBoxes, but then we have also some default HTML or standard HTML. Yes, we use an HTML table for headers, and then we use some custom element to show the email header fields. And you can see here, we try to keep the indentation of this, and it's just yuck. Look, like we reached points where it's not great. But yeah, it's a mix of everything. Like we have HTML, this Zool label is not an HTML label. We still don't use Fluent. We use the old properties and DTD translation file. So it's a bit of a mess. It's a bit of a bloody mess, mate. Sorry, I shouldn't do accents. So we need to fix this. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done. It won't be a single patch. It needs to be split in multiple patches because we need to implement, other than a new layout to make it better, we need to implement new options. We need to implement proper breaking points. We need to implement proper media queries and a lot of other good stuff. So luckily I did some design. Actually, I think like this design, we did it together, right? I remember I live streamed this. This one, the final one, was finally approved. And there's a lot going on here that needs to be properly defined. So the first thing that we're gonna do here, we are gonna use these, which is approved, and we're gonna draw on top the HTML structure of all the elements that we need to build with the separation. We need to define where to use CSS grid, where to use Flexbox, where to use just standard HTML inputs or HTML labels or span or divs, whatever. But we need to give it a proper semantic HTML structure with CSS grid and Flexbox. So what I like to do in these cases, when I have a finalized design, I convert that finalized design into a component, especially this is Figma. So I duplicate that component, and I create a new frame, and I call these something like CSS, what is that? Oh, this microphone is just right in front of my my keyboard. Message header, CSS grid, something like that. Then I paste the component here, and I lock the component in place, so I don't accidentally move it around and edit it. And then I can start doing some CSS grid defining things. So it's just literally a rectangle. So we have some rows that we can identify. So we have this first row, which is this one. And we can have this sort of, actually, let's use purple for CSS grid, and then blue for Flexbox. Yeah, we can do these. So I like these things. Look at this. Let's do this little organization that it's totally redundant, but I like it. So we're gonna do it anyway. CSS grid. And then we can do Flexbox. Oh, Flexbox? Yeah, that would be nice. And Flexbox can be this little blue here because I like this blue. Okay, so we have our legend here. And we can say, first of all, the whole structure should be a flex our CSS grid container. We need the CSS grid container because we currently have a problem with the message header, because we tried to do some flexbox with Zool, and it doesn't really work, especially if you have a lot of these recipients here and you click more and it expands. The message header doesn't properly grow in height. We need to recalculate it with JavaScript, which is insane. This is one of the many downfalls of using Zool and HTML and not proper styling and custom element all together in the same layout component. Is just so messy. So yuck. We need to fix that. And if we wrap everything to a CSS grid, automatically that will be treated as a standard HTML element. So it will grow automatically. But then we need to identify a bunch of rows, which are mostly 3 main sections that we can potentially split and we can define. The first section is this one. This is the first row. Then we got the second row. And then we got a third row. Whoops. Oh, okay. So we got these 3 main rows, and it doesn't matter how many things change and how you resize things on how much content you have in this section. These rows should never change and should always be consistent. So if we do something like this, if we simulate a responsive variation of this, so I paste it here and I detach it from the component, and we say, okay, now this should be this big. How do we handle this? Well, first of all, we move, whoops, this on top, and we could potentially put it to the left or center, whatever. We can define this later. Actually, we can keep, maybe we can keep this to the right. Yeah, something like this. Then this turns into something like this, and this turns into something like this. Yeah, and this, we do this. What is this? Oh, this is all into a frame. Nah, I don't need to be into a frame. So out of a frame and group. And this fish cycle. Okay. So this is what might happen when we are in a very strict, not much space, very narrow situation. And we could also expand. Of course, we're going to have also some font changing, but I'm not dealing with font changing right now. I'm just thinking about the HTML structure. So it's totally, yeah, I'm going to ignore that for now. Another thing, if we have a situation where the, what is this? This is not inside. So join the effort here. Thank you. If we have a situation where we have a really long name, a really long title, these also could go, sorry, a really long email. This, for example, if this is very, very long, a very long name, blah, 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 whatever. These could go on its own line. and it's not optimal. It doesn't look great, but it can stack one after another. Yeah. And these can be here. This, of course, just shrinks the font size. At least is readable. It's not an optimal solution, but at least it's readable. We don't crop any element. We don't crop any content. And it's still, we have everything in place. Then we can refine the font size. We can refine the spacing. We can give a better rhythm, but at least we know we need to identify how items stacks with each other. So these will be a flex container. So these, the title or the container that handles the identity of the from the recipient will be a flex one. So it will expand as much as possible. These buttons will be a grid layout, which Draman wrote already. This grid layout, because these buttons, the user will have the ability to show or hide the labels of these buttons. And in order to make this consistent with spacing, we need a grid layout that keeps the same padding, the same sizing. And if these, with this flex container, we can automatically put, without any breaking point, we can set this flex container to flex wrap. So whenever the content touches the extra content, so it doesn't matter how long the name is, how long the email is, how many buttons the user has here, if the flex wrap kicks in, we need to make these a flex column reverse. Or actually, we just reverse with Flexbox. We can just reverse the order. So the buttons, they go on top. So yeah, we can definitely do that. These, I don't know if we want to have the... Yeah, I think we can do this. I think it's better. Yeah. This is ugly, like the yuck. I wish we could just move it up here, but then we have another problem like two inline. So I think these is going to be just a simple flex wrap, the stacks, so it doesn't matter. And same thing, this is another flex wrap that stacks with these two things stack, but this one has to always be justified to the end or justified to the right, justify the content to the end. So I think it makes sense as a structure. Font sizing is not super well defined, but I'm not worried about it right now. I'm not going to touch that. I'm just going to touch the HTML structure and define a proper HTML grid. So yeah, I don't want to use flex column Drummond though. I want to use a regular flex direction, and I want to let these items stack. So I don't need to create a breaking point where I change the CSS, just flex wrap and they automatically stack. And when they stuck one on top of the other, I can define the flex direction. So I can literally, in HTML, these buttons will be before the recipient, but I can reverse the order. So when they wrap, the order is correct and the buttons will always be right aligned. Yay. Makes sense. Hello Base, hi Alex, will you have some time to talk about your recent video on awfulness of Windows? Yes, we can talk about it in a bit. I'm gonna code a little bit and then we can stop and talk about that. Thank you for asking. Like, is steering some shit. Why not hide icons in expand icon? All icons in expand icons? Nope. Because those are quick actions. You shouldn't add an extra click to add those extra actions. One thing that we will try to do is that if we have enough space, the buttons should show a label, but if not, they shouldn't. But also we need to give the options to the user to decide, I want a label or I don't want a label. So they should be able to control that. Base says, so no 2 lines. 2 lines for what? For the buttons or for something else? Anyway, I'm pretty happy with this structure. It seems simple. Like the important thing is that one thing that we want to avoid is to have the shit show of an HTML structure. There are so many elements together. Like we need to keep things simple. So the default structure should be clean, simple, not messy. So yeah, let's get started. First of all, message header pop-up. What is this pop-up? Why everything is separate? Oh god. Message header view, and then we need to deal with the JavaScript. We're gonna deal with JavaScript later. This is so much. No 2 lines when icons are hidden. Oh yeah, no, it doesn't matter. It's fine having 2 lines. Like these icons, we cannot hide these. These are not icons. These are the action buttons and toolbar buttons that are vital for the message header. If we hide those, it's not gonna be pleasant. Like users won't like it because of course it's gonna increase the extra clicks and make the usability less intuitive, less obvious. Draman, do you use media queries for responsive layout or any library? We just use media queries, just very, very simple default media queries. No external libraries, just plain CSS, or no external JavaScript libraries either. Okay, let's start with these shenanigans. I really don't understand why we're indenting this way, but let's start with this thing. Okay, so as we said, structure. CSS grid container. And then we end the CSS grid. Then we got the 1, 2, 3 flex columns. So flex row from plus buttons, which should be the other way around, but we're deal. Then the flex row here is 2 other actually it's all recipients, or recipients plus date. And then the last column is flex row with title plus security info. So we have these 3 things. Perfect. Let's start. We're gonna use this section. We're gonna give it a class, grid layout. We have, I think, yes, there you go. We have a grid layout.css. So we should embed this. Is this embedded already in this little thing? Grid layout.css. Oh, grid layout. We have this in everywhere except the files that need this. So grid layout.css. God, wow. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Where are we? Message header view.inc.xhtml. Where are we including these? Including here. Message window. Boom. Grid layout. Should these be? Oof. Let's put it at the bottom. Then in the message window, main message window, a grid layout, and then in the messenger. Yuck. So many grid layout. Actually, this thing should be on top of everything. because if we don't put it on top of everything, then if there's another whatever class repeated of these, we're going to override it, and we don't want to override it because we don't want to introduce any regression for this thing. We're trying to keep this simple. Then we can clean up this mess later, but we have included all our grid layout stuff. So grid 3 columns, inline grid, grid template, auto. No, I need grid 1 column. Grid items baseline, grid item send, grid item column 2. Okay, let's do grid 1 column. Grid. Play. Grid. Sandra, yo, how's it going? Get some blurry fonts are hard to read. Okay. Sorry, I was reading emails and messages. Draman says, feels to me templating is hard with this structure. I wish it was more component oriented. Not sure if current structure could prevent code redundancy. Yes. So we're using an include to include these in all the sections that we need. Using like since we don't use a templating system, we just use just HTML. And HTML has a template tag, but the template tag means that you have a template HTML structure, then you have to grab it in JavaScript and you have to replace or populate those things in JavaScript. So it adds an extra step, an extra layer of complexity. This is not optimal, but this is so fast because it's pure, simple HTML. So it's easier to style, it's easy to manage, it's very easy to load. It doesn't add any loading time to your application. So we're trying to keep things pretty simple, pretty standard. But yeah, I would love to have these using Vue.js and Vue templates so we can reuse reusable components, but JavaScript will get there probably in the future. But for now, we need to keep things simple. So yeah, this is the thing, grid 1 column. And then is the message header. Message header. Does the message header have any sort of CSS? Because we need a CSS file for the message header. Read aloud, message window, message header.css. There you go. Boop, boop. Oh my God, it's also separated by file. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh God. Oofed. I don't like this. I don't like this. Message bar, message header, mail windows, join chat. So I think maybe the grid layout is not necessary because we're not doing inline grid. Yeah, we're not doing any of this. So yeah, I think the grid layout is not necessary. Woofed. Damiano, you can search. You can write in Italian. It's fine. Why you redacted your comment? Hello, Sandra. Hi. Travis said I think you could use Flex instead. No, as I said, one problem. As I said, the main problem that we had with Flex And maybe it will go away once all the elements are pure HTML. But the main problem is that when you click more to expand the list of recipients, the header doesn't grow properly and it's cut off. And we have an overflow issue because the flex elements, they're not great at wrapping if you don't specify some things, but we don't want to force the wrap if we don't like it's kind of a weird situation. But maybe you're right, maybe after we convert everything in pure HTML, we don't have all these shenanigans going on, we can just use that as a flex element. But using it as a grid, it adds some simplicity to styling the spacing between elements and the repeated. Since we have like 3 rows, it makes it easier to style that. So yeah, let's actually do this. Grade 1 column, we don't need this because we don't have any of this. And also all the things that we changed here, we can drop them because we don't need about message. Messenger, yes, this is not necessary anymore. This, because all those files have the message header.css and we're going to use that style. It's fine because it's an include, everything is incorporated, everything is included. So yeah, who cares? No grid layout. Okay, we can call these message header container. Container. Wow. Keyboard dyslexia. Okay, let's use this as a new style. Message header container. It's a display grid, and then we have the column gap is, let's give it 6 pixels, and then we have the row gap, it's 6 pixel. And then here we were using expanded header view. Yeah, show header modal. Yeah, see the shit show that we had to do before. Overflow auto, overflow hidden hicks, max height 14. Yuck, yuck. Yuck. What is this thing? I don't. It's bad. It's bad, man. Background color. What's the background color here? Who's defining the background color? Mods dialog in the attachment bar, attachment toggle, attachment name, attachment list, tag value. Ooh. Wow. Look at these things. Attachment single, attachment view. Attachment bar, crypto, message security label, signature. So where is the background color defined in this? Yeah, wow. It's yuck. Well, I also did something very, very smart here. I started coding on this without creating a patch or anything. I just forgot. Okay, what did I change? That's just 2 files. Okay, Command Z. Let's create a bug for it. Actually, we have a bug. Reimplement message header. Bookmark. Bug. Boom. Message header HTML. And now we can code. And now we can put back all the things that we did. Yay. Now it's good. Now it's good stuff. Now we can build this. Let's inspect this little thing and see what's going on here. All right, so here we can open up the inspector and see this section here. where is the background color coming from? This one. Oh, it's a whole section here. Is the message header view. Display, color, single message, background color, app workspace. What? App workspace? What is this? Single message. Wow. Well, I guess since it's inside, we don't really care about this styling because we don't need to define the border. We're not styling that. Border bottom is not this. We don't have any. Yeah, look at this mess. Border spacing. Okay, well, I guess we can ignore that because whatever. Main header area. Border bottom style none. I really don't understand what is this app workspace. Oof. This code, man. This code. It shows some very ancient things. It's kind of interesting sometimes that you realize like, oh wow, shit, this is not hoofed. Okay, so now we have perfect. Okay, here we can use another section. Then boom, boom, 3 sections we have. We said the flex for recipients, the from button. So class message header row, because these rows are identical for all display flex. Message header row. We got display flex. Then they all grow flex 1 and flex wrap. Wrap this. All right. Then this row reverse. We can do something like that. And we can say that if we have the row reverse class is flex direction row reverse. Yeah. And let's add some placeholder. So we got, for example, we got a div, my from, and then we got another div with my buttons. Then in here, we will have a div with my recipients, and then another div with my date. And then here we have my div with my title, and then another div with my security info, stuff like that, okay? If you give them all flex 1, they will fight for the space. No, because these are rows. These are just rows, so they're not column. So they need to grow. And there are the 3 rows, and I want them to be flex 1. I guess I could avoid to be flex 1 since we are in a CSS grid situation. So I could, yeah. But they're all extendable space. Like all these 3, 1, 2, 3, they need to grow. I will give flex 1 to the divs inside this, but also these should grow. Well, we'll see. I think, yeah, maybe flex 1 is not necessary because we are in a CSS grid container, so they already span the full width. Actually, I could define these grid template columns. What is that? What was that? Grid. Like columns. should be max content. This, if I put this max content, then I don't need to put flex 1, I think. Why it always opens the other window? Damn it. Okay. One fragment. You say one fragment. Let's see. All right. So yeah, it's interfering with the other one, but whatever. I ain't gonna. Is it hidden? True, because this is Zool, so it's not hidden. It's a hidden true. And opens up to the other side. Yes, as usual. Okay. Opens up the inspector once again. We got the message header, the main header area. It's here. This one, max content. So you say one fraction, still the same, but this max content should be with 100%. So, main header area. I don't need this. I need this. Okay, I can put flex 1 to this because the main header area is display flex. Let's put it up. And this is flex 1. And if I remove this flex 1 to this should be the way it is right now. So if I shut it down here, can you reopen in the same location, please? Please? No. God damn it. All right. Okay. We got a message header area that spans properly the container with the display grid, and we got our gaps and columns. So row gap, we want 9 pixel. No, 6 pixels is fine. Then we want a padding block of 6 pixels as well. The column gap, we don't need it because we don't have any column. We just have rows, but we're gonna have a padding general of 6 pixels. So everything is consistent and these are properly separated. This section header, these should grow. So flex 1, but it's not because we don't have section reverse. Actually, let's give it a background color. So I can see red. I can see if they grow. So these, first of all, let me copy a row padding, a row gap, and padding 6. So you said, Draman, that I should put this at fragment 1. Yay, look at this. Actually, sorry. 1 fragment. Actually, I don't think it's even needed. Yeah, it's not even needed. Boop. We don't even need a template column because good. Good stuff. Draman, you're right. Draman, you should have my job. I am silly man. Okay. This is necessary because the container is a display flex. This is a display grid, and we have the same consistent behavior here. Okay, so now the from, if we force this to be a flex 1, boom, there you go. we have these situation with the from. Oh my god, this color is god awful. We don't need it anymore because we know this is growing. Yeah. And then if we shrink it, we will never reach flex wrap capability. But if we do this, okay, do this, boop, see? Well, then we need to fix other things, but the buttons go on top and we don't need to do anything, any whatever. And this is the problems that we were having, see? This is the problem because of this whole fucking stupid structure here with the H box. So also these things should change. Also these things should, oh my god. I think this is controlled with, no, this is the problem that we always had. Yeah. This is because we're mixing. This is an H box. An H box is a Zool element that has some built-in styling coming from Toolkit, like box sizing, border box, and all these annoying things. And this interferes a lot with basic HTML structure. Then it's just yuck. You say flex. If I use flex, look what happens. Flex, direction, column. Let's see. Boop. See, exactly the same. Ha ha ha. I told you it's not a matter of CSS Grid and Flexbox. It's a matter of the Zool default styling coming from the Firefox toolkit that it's messing things up so much. It's just, God, God, it drives me crazy. So I need to rip this out. If I do this and I remove this stupid thing, give me bar section, and I do grid. This is insane. This is so annoying. Section. This is just the worst. Okay, this thing, if I do a simple display block, yeah, see, this is a display block. I do a display block for the main container, it's good, but I want the goddamn, I think I need to do a display block for this stupid thing. Bloop. I ripped I deleted it. Let me jump yeah, let me launch it again. Okay, let's see this beauty. See this booty. If we grab this, the container, it comes with a display flex, which comes from the display mods box, but it's overwritten. But the V box, yeah, a mess. I think it's also some JavaScript, maybe. Is this is not a resizable area, so annoying. is this fucking mods box? Flex grow, flex shrink. Well, these are the defaults if you don't. Okay. It is. And more. Because we want to wrap it. Well. It's not wrapping. They reset CSS. It's super out of date. Yes. It's the worst. High auto to this. I don't think it's gonna make a difference. Yeah, no, it doesn't. Maybe this. I don't know. But if I put these a display block, it does the same. Is this fucking container? Yeah, it's this container. Is this message header? So without a display block, it doesn't resize. The main header area. Display block. Okay, let's give it a try here in this way. Style, display, no, sorry. It's flex, just to give it a test. This is something like that. Max height auto. Now we're trying to just let's throw everything we got at this and let's see if it sticks. That's the solution here we got. Bloop. Yay. I got it. Boop, 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 boop. The almighty display block. So if the container is a display block, is the Zool and the display flex that is horrible. But yeah, using the display block makes sense. Okay, yeah, we got a base update, and we need to wrap the text here, but whatever, we're gonna deal with that later. Hey, look, we wasted almost an hour live streaming for some flex thing. God, it is atrocious. Okay, let me add okay, Baze, are you still here? Do you want to chat about the Windows Windows is bad video? You can ask if you want. HG commit bug. What bug is this? Which bug is this? This one. Bug. Rebuild the HTML structure of the message header view. Actually, let's not put any reviewer yet. So it's a whip patch. You will use the gap, but yes, you can use padding or margin instead. Yeah. I like the gap, so it's consistent. It repeats properly throughout all the elements, and if you wanna update the sizing of it, of everything, of every single element, you just have one CSS attribute that you can update. So yeah, it's pretty standard. It's pretty straightforward. Sadly, you can say the same thing about macOS. Sure, yeah. So you can say the same things about Linux. I wasn't actually, let me switch. That's the thing that I don't understand about the comments in that video. I never mentioned macOS or Linux anywhere in that video. I'm just talking about Windows and the things that are bad in terms of usability. I never said, oh, Linux is better because you can play games, or macOS is better because you have design applications. I never did comparison, and just some people got upset and mad, like, oh, well, you said Windows is bad, well, Linux is shit. Like, Windows, macOS is even worse. Like, it's it's a yeah, it's weird. Sure, yeah, macOS has a million problems, especially the most recent versions. They are introducing a lot of weird things in terms of usability. Also, in terms of the UI, there are some strange, unpolished sections that are not standard macOS type of quality. So Windows is not for open source guys, but I wasn't doing any comparison with like, oh, Windows is good for developers or better for designers or worse for open source. I just simply analyzed in terms of a user experience point of view the issues that Windows presents to the user, how Windows behaves in specific situations, and people get really mad with a comparison to other operating systems, which I never did. So I don't understand. Maybe they assume that I love Linux or that I love macOS. I don't love any operating system. I use the operating system that I feel it's easier for me, but I also use Windows almost daily to debug and do things. So it's not. I hate Microsoft. Yeah. I guess it's pretty sketchy. Linux doesn't have any agenda to promote another company products. It's true. I hate. German hates. Well. I knew that that video was going to create some strong opinions and some strong reactions. It's surprising also the fact that some users wrote, some comments were like, oh, this is not true, these are just your stupid opinions, or these are just opinions, nothing is true. Yes, like I started the video saying, disclaimer, these are just my personal opinions, these are not facts, these are just my personal opinion from my personal experience. And people dismiss my video saying, oh, these are just your opinion. Yes, I exactly said that at the beginning of the video, so I don't understand. Like, I think we live in a world now that we don't understand anymore when one thing is an opinion or is a fact, and we always treat opinions as facts without thinking that maybe, okay, this is your point of view, that's it. I don't have to accept it. I don't have to interpret it as absolute truth. It's just your opinion. That's it. The problem is that there's no alternative to anything currently available. You have ads in Windows, ads, and they think it's acceptable. Yeah. Well, Firefox just released ads in their search bar. See? So yeah, we're following that trend. But yeah, Microsoft, as my main issue with Windows is that it's not an operating system. It's an advertising company. It's an advertising tool. Windows constantly does whatever it wants in the background, disregarding what their user is doing in the moment. And the majority of the things, the pings, the prompts, the notification, the things that you see in the main menu bar are just ads for other Microsoft products. That's not what an operating system should do. That's fucking... that's I'm just watching television ads, so it's just, I don't understand. Yeah. But yeah, no, thank you all for watching the video. Of course, it skyrocketed to the first most watched videos that I've been published recently, because of course, also thanks to the clickbaity thumbnail. I did it on purpose to have a clickbaity thumbnail, because why not? Scheme the system, whatever. Anyway, we are at the end of our beautiful live streaming. Didn't code much, but we are on the right track to make these better message header, more better structure, more flexible. In like next week, during next live streaming, most likely the whole HTML structure will be finished. If it landed, great. If it didn't, whatever. But we will deal with the most likely the buttons and the customizability of those buttons, because we need to create a way to store users' options without creating preferences. Like those should be stored probably in a JSON file in a profile, in the user's profile. And then having the ability to change those directly in the message header without accessing another section in preferences, which is super nice. Ooh, I'm tired. Okay, well, as usual, give it a like, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Check out linode.com/alligator gets $100 off for the first 60 days for linode.com. Well, thank you all for watching, and I talk to you in the next one. And until the next one, as usual, happy coding. Bye.